Hey guys, how's it going? All right, I started this a little early so that I can get some momentum going. So don't mind me. Get yourself comfortable, get yourself some snacks. That's what I'm about to do. I'm about to go get my coffee, get out of this jacket, and I will check in real soon. Right back. Okay, so here we are. Uh, Side note, I'm over here looking for my coffee and I accidentally put it in the fridge without even thinking. So, with that being said, now I got to reheat it and it's not going to be as good. Now, where is my phone so I can start recording myself? Ah. Let's see here. Oh, I have two recording apps. If you guys were considering doing this yourself, I have Rev Recorder and I also have Easy Voice Recorder. Easy Voice Recorder is better for like outside environments, and Rev Recorder is much better like just audio quality for what I have right now. So I will be getting a podcast mic, whatever you call it, in the near future, but bear with me for now. Okay, so let me record and good to go. Okay, so this episode, I wanted to get into the realm of talking about wetlands and mining. Two things that don't really go together, but somehow they do. And I'm about to break that down. Oh, wait, before we go any further, how are you guys doing today? I hope you're doing fantastic. I hope you had a good day at work. Hope you had a good day in school. Whatever you're going through, I just hope it was a good day. Now, when you are, talking about the weather, I think it'll be nice to slowly get into and talk about the weather. That is nature related. I'm not going to tell you where I live. You can probably figure that out. But currently, 34 degrees, cloudy, very dark outside. Okay, so now we got all the introductory stuff out the way. When it comes to wetlands and mining, There's small scale gold mining going on and a lot of like oil drilling that is really disturbing our wetlands, but also the wetlands across the country. So, with that being said, it affects streams, rivers, riverbeds, watersheds, everything water related. So, if you think about, a river, right? It is a natural sweeping mechanism and it helps sweep habitats, to help them get rid of toxins, pollutants, debris, and so on. So it is very, very important that we don't damage them. But currently, wetlands are at a tipping point with, you know, our way of doing things. There's only so much remaining in the first place, and I really don't understand why there aren't stricter guidelines as to what to protect in order to make sure that it sticks around for longer. Because if we destroy that habitat, then we are also, killing off those animals and the people that live there. And that's not good. It's never good to kill something. I mean, we can argue about it, but no, nothing being killed forcefully is a good thing, especially in nature. Like, let them do their thing, dang. So, if you think about it, we only have a finite amount remaining. I was looking at the statistic from, I think it was, what was it? Oh, from Environmental Justice Today. So it's a environmental science journalist uh, blog, and they were saying how the average like deforestation amount is kind of unfathomable because we go by acreage and not by how many trees, like not the exact number, but it's estimated that we're cutting down approximately the size of Costa Rica every year in terms of land mass. So that is just ridiculous. Now, that's something that we can actually see. If we look at a map, and we see a lot of trees and it says a year later and there's no more trees left, we can actually see the damage being done. But because water and the water cycle, things always evaporate and precipitate, it's hard to tell what kind of damage we're actually doing. So you got to understand that when you find out the truth of the damage we're actually doing to Earth itself, you can do something about it. Just so you know, petitions and grassroots work actually do work. So you have to think about, north of us, the Yukon, right? They're using this tactic as we speak. They are going literally door to door explaining what's going on and how easy it is to get a license to mine there because it's small scale, whatever that means. Damage is damage, but how easy it is to get a license, but then it's not checked on what kind of damage they're doing to the land. And it doesn't take long to see what kind of degradation and erosion comes from, anthropogenic, a human, interaction. So let's rewind. Small scale mining is defined as scooping out rocks, gravel, etc. from rivers in search of gold or diamonds or whatever minerals that you deem valuable. That's what you're searching for. You're getting rid of all the rock in order to get to the good stuff. Now, this is very destructive because it disturbs water quality, right? And we're not talking about just drinking water either. We're more leaning towards the direction of fish being able to breathe, breeding habits, and even reproductive problems in the future because of what they had to breathe and drink. And yes, fish breathe water. We breathe air. So it's the equivalent. What if another animal was damaging our air to the point that it was affecting our reproduction? Oh, wait, that's already happening. So, yeah, moving on. When they scoop these rocks, I promise you, they're not, gently putting them back. They're just leaving them off out to the side. Like, oh, it's just a rock. It's just a boulder. Why does that matter? So this is called waste rock, and that ultimately changes the natural erosion and habitat and ultimately the ecosystem of the wetlands. It's a riparian style, a riparian system in that ecosystem that is vital for its survival. So the reason why it's so easily able to get these licenses is because it's perceived as low cost and very safe. And that couldn't be farther from the truth in all actuality. When you think about, uh, you know, low cost, how many things are cheap but not good for you? I'm not trying to name any names, but I'm just saying there's a lot of fast food places, you know, that sell stuff for very, very cheap, and for a fact it's not the best thing out there for you. So, with that being said, just because it's low cost, it doesn't mean it's better. Like, I don't know why we're still in that mode of thinking. Like, we are a powerful, expensive, higher standard of living kind of country. So I'm not understanding why, it's even happening like this. So then when you have the other side saying it's safe, you're only saying it's safe because you see the word small. Small, like, oh, it's small as in not a big deal. It's better than big. It's like, well, technically, yeah, but how about this? If I get struck by lightning, but I could turn around and say, I mean, it wasn't the biggest lightning bolt. How was that good? I still took a lot of damage from that lightning bolt. So, hey, that's all I'm saying. So, in the end of the day, I'm going to have to say we need to be more strict on our land use laws. It's way too easy for someone to get into political power and them to exploit that land. It's already happening in Africa, in Asia, in Mexico, pretty much any place that's trying to further industrialize. They will exploit the natural environment, natural resources, without any concern for the next generation. And that's something I'm really not understanding because, let me get my coffee. Hold on. It's about to burn. Hold on. Ooh, that's some good coffee. Guys, this coffee is fantastic. Golly, I needed that. Okay, so like I was saying, where was I? Yeah, we need to be far more strict on our land use laws. It's way easier to get some politician who does not care about the ecosystem to exploit that land, use it for something that they can turn into some sort of propaganda or like add to their platform. I don't understand how that's not a good platform of pushing towards a more sustainable future. Like sometimes I feel like we end up inventing stuff that we don't really need. If you think about things that we need or needed, right? Let's go back to the Industrial Revolution. There's a lot of stuff that was invented that made sense, right? So let's see. You got the assembly line. You got electricity, like in homes and in factories. You got steel. You got oil refinement. I'm really just going off of how the men who built America, pretty much, they explain it very well. Go check it out. I think it's on the History Channel or something like that on the app. Anyway, yeah, like those are all the things that we needed, that made sense, that made our lives easier, more efficient. But then again, fast forward to 2020, we end up inventing stuff that just makes stuff more complicated. So if you think about the complications of, whatever this is, what happens is we get so lost in invention and we lose the goal of mastery or perfection. And I feel like that's the issue. You should hone in on what works and what doesn't and stop when it works and keep going when it still needs progress. So, I feel like if a lot of our effort went towards making cars, making just transportation more efficient, instead of, investing in solar power and stuff like that, I feel like we would be ahead of the curve when it comes to trying to become a more sustainable planet. I think we need to, stop being so ethnocentric and look at places such as Sweden, such as Norway, such as, I don't want to say Japan, but they fit so many people within a small space. I feel like they're killing it. I feel like they're just maximizing efficiency. How else can you figure out how to fit millions and millions of people in a landmass that here should only fit, a quarter of that? So, with that being said, I feel like that is the next step for society, to start looking at things as objectively as possible and to start actually getting rid of stuff that we don't need. But then what we do need, work on it until it is of the highest, of the utmost quality, so that we can give it back to society and just run with it and see how it goes. Instead of investing our money into new stuff and spreading the wealth around, we should focus on the key things that will make the world, keep on spinning for that little while longer. So, yeah, I want to have a discussion with you guys about, what are those major things? Is it greenhouses? Is it our water treatment? Is it a green infrastructure? It could be a lot of things. So just make sure you go ahead and comment. Make sure you like other people's comments that you agree with. And I definitely want to see where your guys' heads are at, so you guys can understand where my head is at. I feel like I'm just always in the lab, always in the laboratory, thinking of ways we as a people can get better and better at what we do. It doesn't matter what you do for a living. It's about how you live as a person on this planet when you're not at work, when you're not at school, when you're not asleep. What actions do you take in order to make sure that, the wetlands don't go away, that our environment doesn't go away, that, it's so backwards that we have to invent infrastructure, artificial stuff to prepare for the fact that it will no longer exist. It's like, well, why don't you stop what you're doing? Why don't you stop doing what's making the thing end? You can easily stop it. If you all had like-mindedness, had some type of neural linkage with each other, this world would be a better place. That's all I have for you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed that. You can always refer back to these podcasts. Like I said, they're coming out Monday through Friday. So just make sure you stay tuned. I'm going to make an archive playlist of these podcasts. So just because it's live, I'm still going to upload it and they're going to be in the playlist there. So even if you miss it, you can just go ahead and watch them back to back to back to catch up. All right. Other than that, hope you guys have a fantastic night. See you around. Peace.